Or-
All right. Artificial intelligence, differing depictions across the genre of science fiction. Many stories have been told through the genre of science fiction. Perhaps the most popular and widespread science fiction saga is that of Star Wars. One of the most interesting and compelling components of Star Wars is its incorporation of artificial intelligence in the form of droids. Droids make up some of the core characters of Star Wars, like C-3PO, R2-D2, and more. Although different from their living counterparts, droids are no less important in the storied epic of Star Wars. Droids are not the only depiction of AI in science fiction, however. In Ted Chiang's The Lifecycle of Software Objects, artificial intelligence looks quite different than the droids, but is no less essential to the story. These differing depictions of artificial intelligence describe two very different ideologies on the roles and futures that AI might have in our own future. In Star Wars, AI appear in the form of advanced droids that perform a myriad of tasks. They can be made to do anything and everything one could possibly want. There are protocol droids that act as butlers and translators. There are astromech droids equipped with repair gadgets that they use to repair starships in space. There are battle droids that serve in militaries instead of living soldiers. There are even gonk droids whose sole purpose is to be a giant moving battery. Each droid is designed for a specific function in the real world and to assist living beings in whatever they require. Here we can see a BX commando droid. Commando droids function as sort of special forces instead of our actual special forces with living beings. You can think of a commando droid kind of like a Navy SEAL of sorts. They're equipped with very durable yet mobile, joints, and they're very light on their feet. They're very fast, and they're specifically designed for combat. In the life cycle of software objects, the Digiants are originally designed to mimic humanity and exist as companions in a virtual space called Data Earth, not the real world. They require a lot of care and guidance in order for them to develop and learn skills, much like humans. They can also be designed to perform tasks for humans in the real world, but the technology is not as advanced as the droids of Star Wars, and the real-world task-oriented Digiants are not as efficient. Many Digiants are not even designed to perform a pre-designed task and are instead meant to be emotional tools, companions, or friends to humans in the virtual world. Much like pets, most users of Data Earth thought of the Digiants as only useful for companionship/entertainment. The Digiants only develop at a pace that humans can train them. They can be trained to perform certain tasks and work much like humans can, but they tend to become very obsessive and disobedient when sold to corporations. Droids, on the other hand, understand that they were designed to fulfill a certain task and do it without issue. Here we can see one of the Digiants from the life cycle of software objects. This segues into our next section, the physical appearance of AI and its relation to their functions. In Star Wars, most droids do not look human. Their forms are determined by their functions. We can see these in pictures of R2-D2, C-3PO, and more. Droids are designed with a singular purpose in mind, a job to complete, and their appearance is a reflection of that purpose. So here on the left, we can see R2-D2. He's one of the astromech droids that I mentioned. He has special magnetic feet that help him cling to the sides of starships while he repairs them in space. all of these gadgets and gizmos toward his midsection are different sorts of tools that he'll use to repair ships. C3PO, who's on the right, however, is an interesting case when considering the life cycle of software objects, because he is much closer to what a Digiant is kind of like. Now, he doesn't need to be trained or raised or have any sort of like emotional support, but he does exist to essentially help out in the house. You know, he can be a butler. He's a translator. He knows like 600 billion languages or something like that. He can also be coded for sensibility to help with pregnancies and, you know, anything that someone would need in the house. This is pretty similar to what how Digiants tend to function in Data Earth. They're more emotional, emotional support AI, and they they exist to not to perform a specific function, but more as a kind of helper. While the appearance and abilities of droids in Star Wars directly result from their functions, Digiants in the life cycle of software objects are not so restrained. They can look however their masters want them to look. Their forms are not solely restricted to their function. In life cycle of software objects, the Digiants are originally meant to exist in the virtual world of Data Earth and its counterparts. However, they can be transported into human-like bodies to fulfill a task that they have been trained to do. So this here is a kind of an image of the life cycle of a Digiant. In the real world, this is kind of what they look like. They look like humans instead of like R2D2 or the commando droid, which are very much resemble their function. These contrasting portrayals of AI technology form two schools of thought about AI. First, AI should be designed to fulfill a singular purpose effectively and efficiently. That's what we see in Star Wars with the droids. The second school of thought is that AI are meant to be more than a function and should be able to exist outside such rigid boundaries, kind of like humans do. And this is our ideology that's presented in the life cycle of software objects. Droids are not mindless machines, however. They obey their masters and do their jobs, but they still have the ability to learn and develop and react to the world around them. Many droids have a degree of understanding of human emotion, as seen with R2D2 and C3PO in various points during the movies. However, this is still different from the Digiants because all the droids' learning is for the purpose of improving at their jobs. They are not driven by any purpose other than what they were designed for. These differences between droids and Digiants reflect two differing ideologies on what AI may look like in the future. On the one hand, AI may reflect the lives of humans requiring parents and emotional support and validation in order to develop and live as a part of society. On the other hand, AI may develop to be task-driven, as we see with the droids. Although they can comprehend some sort of emotion and are generally self-aware, they do not require the time and effort and constant emotional reinforcement that the Digiants of life cycle of software objects do. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what our future artificial intelligence looks like. Here is our works cited.